I know that she will bring to her new responsibilities the same unwavering commitment to duty that I have come to depend upon so greatly. We are kin, and she understands intimately what is happening among our people. It must be extraordinarily demanding for you. For many years, stood beside Prince William with quiet dignity, never seeking the limelight, yet always earning respect. She carried herself with composed fortitude, inspiring admiration without uttering a word. Yet behind the palace's gilded doors, a long-held secret remained. It emerged only after Queen Elizabeth's passing, when Princess Anne revealed the sovereign's final instruction. It was not addressed to the king or to the heir, it was intended for. The revelation stunned William and visibly shook Charles. Why had the queen chosen? What qualities did she perceive that others had overlooked? Let us uncover the truth that may forever transform the monarchy. One unassuming evening, far from public view, within the palace walls, something unexpected occurred. Anne produced a letter she had safeguarded for many years. Everyone assumed it concerned the future king or the heir apparent, but instead it focused on someone else, the person whom the queen quietly trusted to guide the royal household forward. That night the palace felt unnaturally hushed. A thin mist curled around the gates, as though time itself had halted. Anne summoned Charles and William to a private gathering, no aids, no interruptions. The three sat alone in a chamber steeped in history, encircled by portraits of former sovereigns. Anne said little. She laid the envelope upon the polished oak table. Charles reached out first, his hands trembling. William leaned forward, his brows knitted, as he unfolded the neat parchment. The letter's message was unmistakable. Was not merely William's spouse or a loyal supporter of the crown. The queen saw in her the potential to lead the monarchy into a new era. She admired for her compassion, her patience, and her silent strength. She believed possessed precisely the qualities required to bear the burdens of the crown in changing times. Charles found the declaration difficult to accept. The weight of kingship pressed more heavily upon him than ever before. William remained silent, clutching the letter with a mixture of tension and contemplation. Anne offered no arguments. Her sole purpose was to deliver the queen's last will. She understood that this choice transcended tradition. It was a matter of necessity. Was not merely adhering to royal convention, she was poised to rewrite it. After a thoughtful pause, William asked why the queen had her thoughts until now. Anne met his gaze knowingly. Perhaps their mother had awaited the moment when they were prepared to grasp her vision. The room fell into a reverent silence. From that instant, the royal family's course would be irrevocably altered. Had never sought attention or drama. She appeared at public events with her focus fixed on family and service. That was precisely why the queen had selected her, not for lineage or for formality, but because possessed the heart to carry forward the crown's legacy in a fresh manner. By morning, London awoke beneath its habitual gray skies, appearing unchanged. Yet within palace an urgent private council convened, one that would shape the future of the monarchy. Only a handful of trusted advisors and family members gathered in a room thick with expectancy and unspoken questions. Princess Anne arrived first, bearing a simple folder containing the queen's letter. King Charles followed, his countenance calm yet his eyes restless. Prince William entered thereafter, composed outwardly but carrying a tempest of emotion within. As they seated themselves, the air pulsed with the knowledge that nothing would ever be the same. Without preamble, Anne placed the folder upon the heavy oak table, her voice firm and clear. This was not her decision, nor Charles's, nor William's. It was the Queen's final wish, entrusted to their care alone. It represented a new vision for the crown. All gazes turned to the letter, each line penned in the Queen's familiar hand. The message spoke plainly. Though not of royal blood, had been chosen by the sovereign as the individual destined to lead the monarchy into its next chapter. This signified a departure from age-old convention. The Queen believed that qualities such as resilience, grace, and the capacity to shoulder the responsibilities of sovereignty outweighed mere heredity. She had not altered the official succession by decree. Some things cannot be rewritten with ink alone, but she had made her intentions unmistakably clear. Was intended not just to support the next king, but to stand as a leader in her own right. A hush settled over the room, punctuated by soft murmurs. Then, anger flared. King Charles slammed his palm against the table, disbelief quivering in his voice. He had assumed the prior evening's revelations were an emotional impulse, to be set aside come daylight. Yet Anne remained resolute. Their mother had been deliberate and unwavering in her choice. William broke his silence at last, his tone low and pained. He was not only bewildered but wounded, for his life's purpose had always revolved around ascending the throne. Anne softened her tone, assuring him that his role remained vital. His presence, she explained, would still matter greatly. But for the monarchy to endure in a rapidly evolving world, it needed to adapt. Their mother had understood this truth. In time, Anne hoped her sons would as well. William's head bowed, his fingers tightening into fists as he absorbed the implications. Everything for which he had been trained seemed to slip away. Still, something within him shifted. He had witnessed confront challenges he might never face, seen her earn genuine admiration for her unassuming tenacity. Meanwhile, carried on her daily work, oblivious to the extraordinary significance now attached to her name. She visited ill children, spoke with families, and championed mental health causes. Her kindness did not scream for attention, yet it resonated deeply, bringing her ever closer to the future that Queen Elizabeth had envisioned. Within the palace, the fragile calm began to fracture. Whispers seeped through the corridors as subtle signals surfaced. Princess Anne held fast, convinced that there was no turning back. The truth was rising like a tide, soon it would be impossible to contain. For centuries, the monarchy had been a bastion of tradition, its symbol the steadfast of palace. But with Queen Elizabeth's passing, that balance shifted. The crown lost some of its luster under King Charles's rule. People anticipated a seamless handover, yet the enthusiasm that marked the former sovereign's transition was absent. While Charles had his advocates, his past decisions, his dissolved marriage, ongoing controversy over, left many feeling disconnected. Even William, young and progressive as he was, found himself under relentless scrutiny, every misstep. Public admiration for, initially seen as a boon to the royal image, began to eclipse William. The populace no longer viewed the prince as the sole emblem of hope. They saw as the true linchpin of the monarchy's renewal. Across the Atlantic, Prince Harry's damning allegations reopened old wounds, undermining the foundation of the institution. Following the Queen's death, the nation had shared a collective moment of unity and grief, but that spirit soon dissipated. Polls revealed that younger generations questioned the monarchy's relevance. Calls for republicanism grew louder in Australia and among Caribbean nations. Inside the royal household, the erosion of loyalty stung. They recognized that mere ceremonial pageantry and polished public relations would not suffice. What people craved was authenticity, someone who did not merely wear a crown but carried the people's trust in her heart. William found himself adrift. His path, once unambiguous, had veered into unforeseen territory. His challenger was not an outsider, but the woman he cherished most. Had long been admired, but after the Queen quietly designated her the cornerstone of the monarchy's future, William felt his destiny shift, and he struggled to reconcile his love for with his duty to the crown. Night after night, Charles pored over history, seeking guidance in the records of past monarchs who had weathered crises. William bore his anxieties in silence, their weight a constant shadow. When he gazed upon his children, he yearned to believe he was forging a legacy they could honor. By contrast, remained composed. She did not panic or attempt to steer events. She accepted change with her hallmark poise, aware that the world was rapidly evolving and that the monarchy must adapt. What set her apart was that she never chased influence or notoriety, yet the spotlight found her, and she bore it with humility. Outside, royal masked inner tensions. The institution, once as immutable as stone, showed fissures. For palace and all it represented, a crossroads had arrived, and the world watched, eager to see whether the monarchy would collapse or endure thanks to one woman's quiet fortitude. Inevitably, the Queen's private wishes began to surface beyond the palace gates. A handful of loyal staff, having observed events unfold, whispered the truth. When those murmurs reached the public ear, the royal household became divided. Some balked at the notion of taking a leading role while the heir remained in place. They questioned her readiness and political acumen. Others, however, embraced the Queen's foresight, confident she had known exactly what she was doing. This divide kindled public curiosity. People sought to understand, beyond her elegant attire and gracious gestures, what they discovered was both touching and astonishing. Elizabeth was born on the 9th of January, 1982, at Royal Berkshire Hospital in Reading. She was not of noble lineage, but of solid middle-class stock. Her father, Michael, organized flights for airlines, and her mother, Carol, had once served as a flight attendant. On her father's side, there were distant ties to the British gentry. On her mother, the humble heritage of coal miners. At the age of 2, her family relocated to Jordan when her father accepted a posting with British Airways. They attended an English-language nursery, gaining an early lesson in adaptability. By 1986, they returned to England, settling in Berkshire. There, at 4 years old, began school at where even then, she displayed serene confidence and maturity beyond her years. Her mother launched a small mail-order venture called Party Pieces, selling party supplies from home. That modest enterprise flourished, underwriting education and instilling in her the values of hard work and perseverance. In 1995, the family moved to the tranquil village of, where transferred to Marlborough College. Her leadership shone. She captained the girls' field hockey team and earned the coveted Gold Duke of Edinburgh award. She also faced a private health scare, a minor operation to remove a lump from her head, which she met with her trademark resilience, downplaying it and moving forward without fuss. Upon completing school, faced a choice: attend the University of Edinburgh or take time to travel. She opted for a gap year, studying art in Florence, volunteering with Raleigh International in Chile, and working as a deckhand in Southampton. These experiences broadened her worldview and reinforced her work ethic. She then enrolled at the University of in Scotland. She initially pursued psychology but soon switched to art history, a field that truly captivated her. She joined the club, organizing charitable events, and worked as a waitress to support herself. Yet it was here that her life took a fateful turn. She met Prince William. Their friendship, grounded in a shared passion for art history, blossomed quietly into love. By 2002, they were living together with mutual friends, and by 2004, their relationship had attracted public attention. After a brief separation in 2007, amid the glare of tabloid speculation, they reunited, emerging more united than before. In November 2010, their engagement was formally announced. On the 29th of April, 2011, walked down the aisle of Westminster Abbey, becoming the Duchess of Cambridge. Motherhood followed. Prince George arrived in 2013, Princess Charlotte in 2015, and Prince Louis in 2018. With each birth, the world rejoiced. Balanced familial duties, royal engagements, and charitable endeavors with an effortless grace that belied the complexity of her role. In 2018, she quietly donated 7 inches of her hair to the Little Princess Trust, which crafts wigs for children undergoing cancer treatment. There was no publicity, only a selfless act that illuminated her genuine compassion. Meanwhile, Princess Anne, long admired for her steadfast service, began receiving renewed recognition. She embraced new responsibilities, demonstrating that leadership is rooted not in glamour, but in dedication and integrity. Many saw in Anne a model for the modern monarchy, practical, honest, and committed. Now, at this critical juncture, the Queen's final wish hangs in the air. The focus shifts to not merely to inherit a title, but to inherit a legacy built on trust. Questions stir about the roles of Anne and of the heir himself. Was this quiet reordering always part of a grand design, or did something transpire behind palace doors to rewrite the ending? What do you think?